LinkedIn, 2016, very big year, big acquisition. Microsoft bought them out, and then also had another. Did they buy?
They bought lynda.com.
Explain what lynda.com is.
So lynda.com is an online learning platform. So it's video tutorials about pretty much every topic you could think of. They've been around for a long time. LinkedIn bought them and have essentially made online learning incredibly cheap.
And you've seen them start to plug in different shows in education, that you can actually be able to do and buy into, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really frustrated with LinkedIn for a long time because I feel like they've just got this incredible platform of business users, and they've got incredible data as well. If you think about the data that Facebook has on us in terms of being able to target us, a lot of it is algorithmic, so they're not sure for 100% which company you work at or what title or position you have in that company. LinkedIn has all of that.
Well, it's got all the context and it knows that you're there for business, right?
It's still frustrating from an advertising perspective. If I want to use paid advertising on LinkedIn, it's in my experience about 4 to 5 times the cost per click of Facebook. But it's so frustrating because the targeting is so good. The other issue they have is that most people go into LinkedIn maybe once or twice a month, whereas on Facebook they're going in 14, 15 times a day. So those are some issues. It'll be really interesting to see what happens with the Microsoft acquisition and whether they start to thread in those professional services that come on the back of
I kind of think
Microsoft.
twofold. One, I think the algorithm for how they've managed what content you see through your connections is so far behind where Facebook is.
Yeah.
I feel it's got way too clickbaity.
Yeah.
And just not, they keep getting the same pop up like, this is a business platform, blah, blah,
Yeah.
stop posting about bullshit. And I don't think they've got that right enough.
Yeah.
Probably more important, but back to the point of the Microsoft acquisition, I think it's just a huge opportunity for like business, because I think they were looking to buy, was it Salesforce or something potentially?
Yeah, they looked at that.
And they wanted 26, they ended up getting it for 26 million, whatever. But actual like professional services and pricing and goods and all that sort of infrastructure that business people need through the cloud. I think it's just it's almost like they just bought a pipeline for potential customers, right? Like,
yeah.
And if they, especially if it's all going subscription as a service style stuff too.
Yeah.
If they've already got, if they, which I think it's fair to say they own the online professional market.
Yes.
For that stuff. If that is the case, then basically I can kind of see where they're going with that too. I'm intrigued to see where it heads to in the future for LinkedIn.
Facebook are testing at the moment a jobs area within your Facebook page, so it'll be quite interesting whether that then evolves into a jobs listing area on Facebook, because if that does, then all of a sudden a large part of their revenue base comes through recruiters and headhunters and guys who are selling jobs postings. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with that.
But even just the tone and text of how, exactly to that point, if Facebook did decide to go more down professional LinkedIn, mentally it'd feel weird if being on Facebook, because when you're on LinkedIn, you're not probably going to be so loose. It's like your online living CV.
Yeah.
It's gonna. You don't have that same. It's almost like LinkedIn is your parents, and then you're in the living room with your mates on Facebook. You know? So I think that I would struggle if they decided to go super pro services, but then on the next page in the same ecosystem, it's member buddies. Drinking beers on a Friday.
I mean, that's one of the things that frustrates me about their advertising platform, because as a user, when you're on LinkedIn, you're in business mind.
Yes.
And so actually you're going to be more receptive to those ads. Now, the ads are too expensive in my mind, and the analytics behind the ads isn't very strong. And I think I'm right in saying they've just introduced remarketing. But that has been something that the other guys, Google and Facebook, have been doing for years.
If you were Facebook, would you have wanted to have bought LinkedIn instead of Microsoft, so you could use that same algorithm?
I'm just not sure that they need to, because I think Facebook are starting to move down their own business. We've seen them introduce Workplace.
Yep.
I think Facebook and the agile framework that they use to evolve and develop their products, they in my mind, it just seems that they are developing their products and their features so much quicker.
Yeah. But LinkedIn, I would say that with the native video player, which they just released out with like a couple of top influencers or whatever, that was interesting for a platform of LinkedIn to do its own native video player, but it's still so far behind because you have to embed everything else into it.
Yeah.
I'd rather go the other way and then have I think it's got the biggest opportunity to have everything business related visually in there. They can do so much with it. So I'm intrigued to see what LinkedIn does, or what Microsoft does with LinkedIn.
But yeah, are we going to see software starting to get pushed out of it? You know, that's
we will.
Yeah.
There'll be something.
Yeah.
Old LinkedIn. That's it for 2016. Looking forward to next year.